So this is a little task designed for AS3, the section there where we've got to look at satellite remote images and why they're used. In particular, we're going to take a look at how they can be used to monitor in near real time some unfolding natural events. So in particular, we're going to look here at wildfires in Alaska. Why wildfires in Alaska? Well, apart from the fact that we've studied them before, it gives a really good indication of why remote sensing is so useful. Alaska is big. Very, very big. It's not very densely populated, and therefore trying to keep an eye on everything that's happening by people that are actually in the ground is very difficult. What you need is something that has two properties. Number one, it can cover a lot of ground, and number two, it covers it at a very, very regular rate. Welcome to the world of satellite remote sensing. The satellites orbit the planet and will come around and return to locations maybe once every 2-3 days, depending on their particular location. So you get complete coverage of the Earth every 2 or 3 days. So that is your geographical spread with your temporal finesse. You can get these things done quickly. So you're going to pick a wildfire on this map. At the time of recording, the wildfire season in Alaska is finished, but it does record here some of the wildfires that were burning during the last season in the summer of 2023. So I'm going to show you how we're going to identify them. Now, you know that the tundra is particularly located here and here in Alaska. There's some bits in here as well. Ideally, if there is a massive fire in the tundra when you're doing this, you can go and have a look. There is a fire there, but it's very, very small. You click on that, gives you information. 0.1 acres. That would be almost impossible to find for us using the website I'm going to get you to use. So we're going to come down here and pick one that is a little bit bigger with that red circle around it. So let's zoom in here. Zoomed in too far. The plus and minus do so, and I'm going to pick that one again. You can tap on that one, and that one is 53,000 acres. So I think we'll find that okay from satellites. It's Clear Fire Creek. Okay, so that's the one that we're going to do. Right, how are we going to get our satellite images? We're going to come into Google and you're going to type in Sentinel Hub. And you're going to go into EO Browser. Now, I'm already signed in for this. You'll need to sign up in order to access all of the various tools you'll need for this. It'll only take a few moments. You'll be able to work your way through that as you would normally expect. So here is another GIS map, and I'm going to show you how to navigate your way around this. But I have a nice little analogy I think works well for this. If you've ever booked a flight using a website, you're going to follow something similar. So the first thing that we need to do is, where do you fancy going? Where will we fly to? Should we go to Alaska? I think Alaska's really cool. So let's go to our place. Let's select our destination, Alaska. Give it a few moments to pull up the options, and we're going to pick this one, Alaska, and it's going to take us to Alaska. Let's zoom in just a little bit there to that big state. Right, we have picked our location that we're going to go to. That's the first thing that you're going to do whenever you're trying to book your flight. Now, we've arrived in Alaska. Let's see if we can get much more specific to where our location is. This is where we have a little bit of fun of matching up between these two maps. So I want to get that location in Alaska, and I'm going to give myself a horizontal and vertical line to try and get that. So I'm looking here, there's a little bay here. So this kind of sits in the middle of this bay, right? And then there's a kind of an inlet here, and this sits above it. So I'm going to try and find these two things in this map, and where they intersect, that's roughly where I'm going to search. Alright, this bay, this inlet. This bay, this inlet. And where those two kind of match is in around about here. I can drop a little marker, a little pin here, which I'm going to, just to kind of give me my point of reference, because we will zoom in and out. So it's roughly, this is very rough at this stage, roughly in line with those. So I'm going to pop this in around about there. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom into that. It'll probably not be precisely on top of the fire, but it's going to get me into around about the right area. So if you look down the bottom here now, I'm zoomed into around about 10 kilometers. Depends on the size of the fire. Just that's a 20 kilometer one. We'll just experiment and see. Okay, we now have our destination. Back again to our flight analogy, because you've got to pick the dates that you're going to travel. So we come back into this map, we can see that this fire was first discovered on the 27th of July, and last updated on the 1st of November, the fire was declared out. So it's been burning for at least July, August, perhaps September, a bit of October. We'll find out. So we want to start our search just after the fire has started. So it started on the 27th of July. So let's come back in here. How do we set the time? We just leave that in as default. Sentinel-2 is what we want to do. And we come down here to time range. So I'm going to go from July 2023 into November 2023. So let's go to July 23. And it started on the 27th. So I'm going to pick a date before then. And I'm going to search. And you can see that I've got these appearing. What are these? Well, we'll just click on any one of these and it's going to allow us to start to visualize things. That's fallen a little bit short, but that's okay. We can work around that. Oh, that's sent me into November. I don't want that. Let's just go back to July. That's better. Right. I think my fire is somewhere down around about there. But we have a wee bit of a problem, don't we? Because all we can see is cloud. Need to be able to find some way of picking dates when there's less cloud. If only we could do that. Well, the good news is we can. So we come over here to this little calendar button here. So this is in our flight analogy. We've picked our location, Alaska. We've got our dates, and now this is kind of like you're booking on EasyJet or Ryanair. And can I have a seat, please? Or with EasyJet, can I have speedy boarding and extra leg room, that kind of thing? This is where you're starting to say, can you show me the dates when there is less cloud cover? And that's what this little slider up here is. Now, as I slide this over, notice what happens. If I want any seat in the plane, no problem. But if I want a seat with extra leg room, I have fewer seats to choose from. Or, in reality, if I'm willing to take any day, irrespective of cloud cover, no problem. If I want to reduce this so that I'm getting images where I can actually see the ground, well, the less the cloud cover, the less the options. So, but if I come all the way down here to 0, there's nothing. But around about 13% I'm getting a few of them. I find with this that sitting around about 30% very often gives you the options that you need. But we'll try this on the 21st. Remember, this is before the fire. Okay, somewhere in around about there is the fire. But then we want to, well, will be the fire, because what we want to do is go to a date just after the fire started. So I'm going to come back up into my calendar here. I'm going to either by clicking there go into August, or I'm going to click there to move through into August. And in terms of my cloud cover, I'm going to need to pull that up a little bit more to get myself a few more options. So there's the 5th. Let me just check something here. Wait a second. Yes, good. That's what I thought. Right. There's the 5th. So we can do a before and after. Remember, we had July and what we said, July. So let's pick the July 21st. And let's come into August. And let's go to 5th. Right? There's the fire. Or is it cloud? Well, this is part of where the visible length or visible light satellite images can be a little bit harder to read at times. We want to use some of the false color images that are going to let us see the fire a little bit better. So rather than true color, we're going to come here to false color. We zoom in a little bit further. For flip's sake, it looks like my pin was absolutely spot on. I'm not normally that good. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a fire. Now if you look at what we've zoomed zoomed in here to about a kilometre. That is the fire there. In these false colour images, the red is vegetation. The more vivid the red, the more healthy the vegetation here. And then the black bits here are where the vegetation has been burned. So you can actually see the active burn edge there. You can see the smoke coming back. Now, if I go back into true colour there, let that pick up. Yeah, you kind of can see it, but you just see how much clearer that is in false colour. There's another one that is an interesting output, and that's the shortwave infrared, because what it can allow you to do is to see the active burn fronts in this. This can be quite handy if the smoke is covering the cloud. It looks like in the fire. In this case, it looks like the smoke's being burnt or blown away, so you could see that anyway. But the shortwave infrared allows you to see where the active heat areas are. So for example, if we come over here, you might think that, oh, zoomed in too much. You might think that there's nothing much happening here. But remember the old zombie fire thing? So if I turn on this one, you can see that there's some hot spots there. There's not any active burning there, but that could come back to life again at some point. Okay, so let me zoom out a little bit to get a bit more of a context of this. And we begin to see from this the fires that are burning across this whole area. You can see that it's not just this one, there are some fires up here as well, and more active burn fronts. The brown here showing you where it has been burned. In this case, the green is the vegetation, right? So, what I then want to do is just to get a little bit of a sense of how this develops over time. I'm going to zoom in. Yeah, I think I'll just zoom in here. Back up to my little arrows. Remember, I've set this at about 40% vegetation or cloud cover. So this time I'm just going to use the forward arrows. It's not covering the area that I want. Let's try it again. Okay. Now I'm seeing here that by the 15th of August, because the shortwave infrared is very good this way, I'm not seeing any active fire fronts there. Let's go to the false colour. That fire looks like it has mostly burned itself out by then. Let's just go forward again and see if there's any of them are looking like they're going to come back to life. But what you're seeing here is that the effect of the fire and the areas that have been burned. Let's go back in time. So we've now got our location here. That one isn't going to suit us. There's the fire in action. That one's not going to suit us. Oh, we've got cloud in the wrong place there. Right, and there's before the fire. So what are we now, the 26th of July? Right, so this is a previous burn scar, obviously, and what I can do is to use the travelling through the time to get the sense of that, and then go forward in time here. Cloud in the way, and there's the fire starting. So that's your previous one, so we can see that these are the new fires, just over time here. Okay, so that is a little bit of an indication of what you need to do. So just summarise, you're finding a fire here, picking one that's a bigger one, you're finding its location here in Alaska, dropping a wee pin, and let's see if your pins are as good as mine. Challenge set. You're dropping a wee pin to see if you can find that location. Then you're going in, choosing your date range, choosing your percentage cloud cover, and you're just kind of experimenting a little bit with a bit of a sense there of how that fire evolves over time. So let's come back to where it starts. I'm going to show you how we're going to output this final render here. And that's where you need to come over here, and you need to be signed in for this one, and this is where you're going to create time-lapse animation. So it's that little film strip there, time-lapse animation. Pretty straightforward. Let me show you this. Your time-lapse animation will be an animated GIF. It'll come out as a square, so you can drag this around like that to cover the area that you want to get covered, which I think I just centered on there. That's fine. Then I'm going to press the play button in the middle. And I'll show you a few of these little options that you've got. Now, a couple of things to play with. Minimum tile coverage. this one is going to say, yay, we got a hit on your day. There was a little bit of a satellite image pass on your day for that one. Well, yeah, okay, but it's not much use to me, is it? So let me drag this over. And this now is a balance between actually getting enough images to work with and getting the kind of coverage. Cloud cover, again, I want to take that down a little bit. And what you can see here is the ones that it's rejected, either because the grid there's not enough coverage, or the cloud is too cloudy, or a little bit of both. And this is starting on the 1st of July, and it's taking me through. I just want to make sure that I've got that crucial point where it's actually burning. So I'm not seeing it there. What was the date of that? Why don't I remember what that date was? It's into July. Oh, I know why. Look at the dates up here. It hasn't sent us far enough forward. So I'm going to go forward in time into August. And let's select one image per orbit. And we're shortwave infrared. We're going to search. Yeah, let's do it like that. That's going to give us the time scale that we need. Lots more images this time. Look at them. And let's come down here till we find... There we go. There's our active fire front. Now, one little tip in this, that the cloud tends to be white, smoke tends to be blue. So what we've actually found there is the beginnings of it. It begins up here. Then something happens down here. It starts down here. We've got a little bit more cloud cover in there. And then afterwards... So I'm actually going to extend this out a little bit further because I want to get a good clear after image as well. So let's take this into September, right to the very end. You see how this is a kind of tweaking thing. You can adjust this to see. Right, let's scroll down and make sure that I've got my active fire phases in there, which I do. And I would just love a really nice after image. Yeah, we've got some of those in there as well. Now, if there are any images that you go through and think, individually speaking, that's not revealing much, like that one, I'm not really seeing anything, there's a little checkbox there which you can deselect and take that out of your animation. Now that leaves us with 17 images, and we can press play down here and it will play through. I spotted another one that I think I want to get rid of there because, where is it? That's not adding anything, and I think I'll also get rid of that one. That's not really adding anything. Right, and then let's just press play again. Right, a couple more that we can take out, I think. Let's pause that. I think I can probably take out that one. And that one. Okay, so that's leaving me with 13 images. Nice before and after. A couple of tweaks I can make there. I always like the fade. I think that works quite nicely. Let's go back and you'll see how the fade works. I think that gives us better transitions. And then you can decide in your frame rate. I think the 1 frame per second is fine, but if you want to speed it up, you can do so. It looks a little bit more like this. I think that goes through too fast. You can't see the elements in it enough, so 1 frame per second is fine. Maybe some of those towards the end, a little bit too much cloud cover. Maybe going to take that one out. Any others? Right, now what I have done is got my location, found my fire. Oh, there's another one with too much cloud. Where's it? Where is it? Ah, there it is there, near the start. And I wonder, is that one right at the start? That's still a little bit too much as well. Anyway, you get the idea with this. I'll just go on with this for now. We've found our location, we have told the story over time, and we now have this animated GIF that we're able to download. And that is very, very simple. We just download it there, and that GIF will download for us. And you now have your remote sensed satellite images that would have been available had you been doing this for real in near time. That would have allowed you to monitor that and to track the fires. So if you're seeing that this is a big fire, or if it's close to people, or whatever, you can then send some of your personnel on the ground to have a look and to monitor it in real time. But at least then they know where they're looking. It's not like a needle in a haystack. So that is remote send satellite image for the monitoring of the wildfires. If you then go back into your slides, it'll give you the instructions as to what to do with that little GIF.